Hi, this is a video about major scales on the guitar. There are 5 different positions or patterns that can play the major scales depending on what string you start on. Here they are. We're going to work on a method that is going to make it very easy for you to play the 5 positions just by playing your scales, something you need to know anyways. So let's get going. Positions are a sequence of notes played following a major scale interval pattern within 4 or 5 frets. Here's position 4. Some people may call this a different number. However, we're going to get rid of the numbers and learn the positions just by playing the major scales. Let's look at some charts and we'll get back to playing. Learning everything by rote taxes your memory and requires hundreds of hours of practice. Now the good news. We can build up each position using basic principles. This way, the positions will come naturally and with little effort. Why are there 5 positions? Because there are 5 basic chord forms, C, A, G, E, and D. We're going to start with the C form position. By definition, this position will contain all the notes of the C form major scale. This is the scale we see right here. The roots are red. The first is on the 5th string and the second 1 octave up on the 2nd string. The notes between each root are shown as a black dot. The other notes below and above the roots are in gray. The other characteristic of this position is that the notes are upwards, towards the headstock from the first root. Remember that this is not necessarily the C major scale. It could be any major scale, depending on where you locate the root on the fretboard. How do we find these notes? The C form pattern has 2 roots, one on the 5th string and one on the 2nd string. And we want to play a major scale between these 2 notes. First, let's review the major scale. We start at the root, the first note. We go up 2 half steps, another 2 half steps, and 1 half step. 2 half steps, 2 half steps, 2 half steps, and 1 half step. That's the major scale pattern. So we're going to play this in the C form. So we start at the root and we go up 2 half steps on the 4th string. Now this is 2 half steps. Why? If I play this note on the 4th string on the 5th string, 2 half steps removed from the root, we have this note here, right here. This is the same as this note. So we start at the root. We have 1, 2 half steps up to 2, 2 half steps to 3, 1 half step to 4. Then 2 half steps to 5, 2 half steps to 6, 2 half steps to 7, 1 half step to the root, the next root, or 1. So we played the major scale between the 2 roots. All we have left is to play the lower notes and then the upper notes. So we'll follow the major scale pattern downward from the first root. So we have 1 half step down to 7, 2 half steps down to 6, 2 half steps down to 5, and 2 half steps down to 4. So if I play it up, the C form up from the lower notes, we get. Now the upper notes, we start at 1, we go 2 half steps up to 2, 2 half steps to 3, 1 half step to 4, and 2 half steps to 5. So the complete pattern is. And that is the major scale and the C form pattern. Just to recap on the screen so you can see clearly where the notes are, you go from the root note 1, 2 half steps up to note 2 on the 4th string, then from the 2nd note, 2 half steps up to the 3rd note, then 1 half step up to the 4th note, from the 4th note, 2 half steps up to the 5th note on the 3rd string, then 2 half steps up to the 6th note, and 2 half steps up to the 7th note on the 2nd string, and finally 1 half step up from the 7th note to the 8th, or the 2nd root. I leave you the task of figuring out the notes for all the other positions. You will find it just as easy and beneficial. The 2 roots are always on different strings from one position to the next. Sometimes the notes are located upwards from the first root and sometimes downward. This is what makes the positions different. These are the 5 positions you need to know to play the major scales anywhere on the fretboard. They are the C form, which we went over, and the A, G, E, and D forms. You will find a link to a chart in PDF format giving all the positions below the video, as well as the material we covered here. Bye for now.